Chapter 20. The most natural thing in the world. Some readers may say that they hardly get any inspiration from the universe. That can't be further from the truth. The universe is always trying to get through to us. In fact, the divine is always by our side, waiting to intervene at any point in time. The way the divine intervenes is different for every individual, but I have found that it often presents itself as the most logical step. In other words, the step that feels the most right or logical for you is the step you should be taking next. Forget about taking giant leaps or big steps to achieve your goal. Instead, look at your affairs right now and ask yourself what feels right for you at this very moment. Ask yourself a more specific question. What is the next logical step I can take regarding my finances? Or what is the next easy step I can take to attract more money or anything else into my life? I once asked the second question and received an answer to place an ad in the newspaper. Once again, following what I outlined earlier, I first checked to see whether this answer came from a place of fear or inspiration. After turning inward and paying attention to how I feel, I realized that this answer did not have any fear or negative feelings attached to it. I did not come up with this answer because I needed to have more money or perceived a lack of money. In that moment, I knew it was something I had to act on. Next, I checked how I felt about taking this next step. Did I feel a sense of ease and flow, or did it feel like an obligation? Again, there's no need to try and force the outcome one way or another. When I checked within, I realized that placing the ad was something I could easily do with no resistance. Had I experienced resistance in that moment, I would have dropped the thought and moved on. However, on that day, I did not encounter any inner resistance. The next question came as to how I should write the ad. Again, words for the ad flowed easily for me. Another indication that I was acting from divine inspiration. I quickly arranged for the ad to be placed. Within days of placing the ad as inspired, I received a new business that brought in a nice income source for me without having to greatly increase my workload or working hours. It was something I could accommodate to naturally. When we act in our highest divine order, according to the plans which the universe has for us, the outcome will always be better than imagined. There is another valuable lesson to be learned here. Recently, I felt another impulse to place the same ad and do something similar. Again, I checked within and asked myself whether this impulse was coming from that higher part of myself. This time, I sensed a feeling of obligation that arose from old conditioning, which went like this. Because the ad worked in the past, you should be running it again so you can make more money. Notice the word should. While this line of reasoning certainly makes sense logically, I recognize it as coming from my old fear-based conditioning rather than from the universe. So I dropped the thought accordingly. The moment you acknowledge and see those fear-based thoughts for what they are, you release them and they'll just fade away for you. I now know that if I had acted on that follow-up thought, I would not feel completely joyous in the doing of it, and physical reality would likely not match up to my expectations, since I was acting from a place of fear and lack rather than from inspiration. Manifesting money starts with cultivating a moment-by-moment awareness of how you feel about money on the inside, and becoming very aware of how you feel about the subject. Awareness is the key here. Otherwise, you'll miss the subtle underlying beliefs and emotions that are at play. Once you have picked up on the necessary inner feelings, all you need to do is to drop the unresourceful or negative ones and use them as cues for the next steps to take. This is the basis for manifesting money or anything else in your life.